Cobb and Co is the name of a company that operated a fleet of stagecoaches in Australia in the late 19th century. Cobb and Co themselves did not operate in New Zealand officially, but the name was used by many private stagecoach operators. History. In 1861, the discovery of gold in Gabriel's Gully at Targard prompted a gold rush and saw many Australian gold diggers heading for the port of Dunedin. Among these was the Cobb and Co. coach proprietor Charles Cole, who had been running a service from Smythes Creek to Ballarat, Victoria. He chartered the steamship S.S. India at Geelong and on the 4th of October 1861 landed in Dunedin with one Concord coach, 5 wagons, a buggy and some 54 horses. A vast improvement in comfort, the new American Concord coaches were built by J. Abbott of Concord, New Hampshire. Each had a center door with a glass window which could be raised or lowered. The openings either side had curtains of American leather which rolled up and down to keep out the weather. The interior was upholstered in crimson plush, while the outside was painted red, with gold ornamentation. A box seat and roof seat allowed the coach to carry 5 extra outside passengers, with 6 to 9 seated around the inside. 1 week after landing, his first Cobb and Co telegraph line of coaches left the Provincial Hotel, Dunedin, for the police commissioner's camp at Gabriel's Gully. Changing stations for the horses had already been arranged at the Reliance Hotel, Otokira, Tokomairiro, Round Hill and Waitahuna. In February 1862, the Hoyts came to New Zealand, landing the coach and horses at Bluff. They moved to Dunedin when they found there was no direct route to reach the gold diggings from there and linked up in partnership with C. Cole, trading as Cale, Hart and Co. proprietors of Cobb and Co. telegraph line of coaches. The passenger coach service began to operate on a regular basis from Dunedin to Waikouaiti. Passengers who travelled on this line for Oamaru and beyond were transferred to a light 2-horse wagon for the final part of the journey, where they were met by private contractors to take them to the ferry service at Waitaki. By April 1862, Hart decided to put a 4-horse coach team on the run, with a service of 3 times a week at a fare of £3 each way. The route lay through Palmerston and over the Horse Range, where stops were made at the Hampton Hotel and the Otepopo Inn, before the leg to the Northern Hotel, Oamaru, or on to the Waitaki River ferry service. By 1863 a reasonable roadway had been cut through from Timaru to Christchurch. A Cobb and Co coach line in Timaru soon opened up, with a passenger service on this route running to the north. Within a short time the coach line advertised additional services south to the river ferry at Waitaki, so linking the route with the Dunedin, Oamaru coach teams from the lower South Island. The advent of motorized transport led to the inevitable decline in stagecoach travel. The last Cobb and Co coach run was in 1924, at which point the company closed. Cobb and Co. restaurants. The Cobb and Co. brand name originates from the Australian stagecoach company that operated a fleet of stagecoaches in the late 19th century. Many New Zealand stagecoach operators adopted the Cobb and Co. name, but otherwise traded separately from the Trans-Tasman counterpart. It was for these NZ operators that the brand was transposed onto the New Zealand Cobb and Co. restaurant chain. In 1973 the first Cobb and Co restaurant opened. New Zealand Breeze jumped on the Cobb and Co. bandwagon and rebranded the chain of dated tavern diners to stand alongside the stagecoach operators. They created a string of restaurants that shadowed the stagecoach network supply line spanning the length of the country. Each and every restaurant was fitted out with big red doors in the popular saloon style of the time, and so the iconic Cobb and Co. trademark doors were born. The Provincial in Dunedin was one such tavern diner. Through it all the Provincial prospered. When Jones took over the Provincial, business merely hummed. Jones soon had it throbbing, James McNeish wrote. He turned it into the depot and booking office for the Cobb and Co. coaches running between Dunedin and Gabriel's Gully. It was rough, boisterous and for Jones highly profitable. Clubs, societies and sporting bodies met here, and on one memorable night two groups gathered, one to form a fire brigade, the other a jockey club. Quote, many of the taverns along the gold mining routes were already owned by Nathan Breeze, so simply because they were situated on the thoroughfares, Cobb and Co. incidentally became a family staple for Kiwis. One of the first such routes was between Dunedin and Gabriel's Gully, the famous gully where the first Kiwi gold miners first struck gold. In the height of the gold rush era, the number of Cobb and Co. reached 36 restaurants nationwide, spanning the country from Western Springs, Auckland, to the Avenel homestead in Invercargill. In 1861, the discovery of gold in Gabriel's Gully, Otago, prompted a gold rush and saw many Australian gold diggers heading for the port of Dunedin. Among these was the Cobb and Co. coach proprietor Charles Cole, who had been running a service from Smythes Creek to Ballarat, Victoria. He chartered the steamship S.S. India at Geelong and on the 4th of October 1861 landed in Dunedin with one Concord coach, 5 wagons, a buggy and some 54 horses. Quote, the Freeman's Bar, the original Cobb and Co. coach line proprietor, was usually found adjacent to the dining rooms, the main lobbies of popular taverns.